So, what you guys just saw was an exercise between the Japanese Navy and the United States Navy concerning flying our own aircraft onto their aircraft carriers. So, October 3rd, the JMSFD conducted verification of takeoff and landing of the USMC F35B to JS Izumo. The JMSFD continues to steadily carry out the necessary modifications to the Izumo class to acquire the capability to operate the F-35B. Now, what does this mean? That means that we are conducting exercises out in the Pacific, and all of this is in anticipation of what China is going to be doing with Taiwan. It's as of this point that China will eventually invade Taiwan. I can't tell you how soon that's going to happen, but it just seems like tensions keep going off more and more and more as time goes on. Now, I'm going to show you this tweet from Jack Posobiec. Taiwan stuff heating up more than people realize. This isn't just posturing. There are top Chinese generals telling Xi that they want the green light, aka they have been doing exercises, they have been doing invasion drills, they have been doing almost everything in preparation to invade Taiwan. And I can tell you that that will not be a good thing if it happens. Taiwan, those people will be slaughtered if China invades. And we can kiss our ass goodbye to our chips and our computer systems if that happens, considering Taiwan is who makes all of our chips at the moment. So this is pretty big as of what is going on. So I'm going to read you this right here. Now, we've had some pretty weird stuff happen in the last week. We had some Chinese aircraft get very close to Taiwanese airspace, and as to how close they got, I'm not sure. If they even entered the airspace, I'm sure they're not going to tell us that if that did happen. But let's go ahead and see what happened when President Xi called for peaceful reunification with Taiwan. Yeah, peaceful my ass. From the 10th of October, 2011, from the Associated Press. Taipei, Taiwan. Chinese leader Xi Jinping said on Saturday that a peaceful reunification of Taiwan and China's mainland was in Beijing's interests, despite ratcheted up military threats against the self-governing island. Xi spoke at an official celebration of Beijing's Great Hall of People that focused largely on the need for the ruling Communist Party to continue to lead China as the country rises in power and influence. And they definitely have. Reunification of the nation must be realized and will definitely be realized, Xi vowed before an audience of politicians, military personnel, and other gathered in the hulking chamber that serves as the seat of China's ceremonial legislation. I'm telling you, they're showing absolutely no hesitancy here, and I think it's going to happen pretty damn soon. And with what's going on in Australia, the weakening of our U.S. military due to these vax mandates, and especially what's going on with the UK, Japan, they can do what they can, but they're one single country. This is not looking good at all. Now, I know we are doing our own exercises out in the Pacific to ensure this doesn't happen. However, do I trust the people in charge of our military at the moment? I don't. I don't at all. And that is what is so concerning about all of this. Reunification through a peaceful manner is the most aligned with the overall interest of the Chinese nation, including Taiwan compatriots, the leader said. Yeah, peaceful, everybody. Everyone knows China is all about that. Xi's remarks came just days after Chinese military sent a number of military aircraft flying towards Taiwan in exercises that self-ruled island has called a threat. Over the course of 4 days, Xi's remarks came just days after Chinese military sent a record number of military aircraft flying towards Taiwan in exercises that the self-ruled island has called a threat. Over the course of 4 days, starting last week, the mainland People's Liberation Army flew fighter jets, bombers, and airborne early warning aircraft 149 times towards Taiwan, with the largest single maneuver involving 52 jets. They are not playing around. These are just not exercises, especially with what they're saying about Taiwan. Taiwan and China split in 1949 amid a civil war and the then ruling Nationalist Party fleeing to the island as Mao Zedong's communists swept over power on the mainland. Saturday's ceremony in Beijing was the honor of the 110th anniversary of Chinese Revolution that led to overthrow the Qing Empire and establishment of the Republic of China under Sun Yat-sen. China celebrates October 10th as National Day, and Xi's address touched a common aspirations for the unified failure. Despite the stark differences between China's authoritarian one-party system and Taiwan's vibrant multi-party democracy. And one thing is that this whole time, something that not a lot of people know is that this whole time, China considers Taiwan part of its own territory. China considers Taiwan to be its land. They're essentially laughing at Taiwan at the fact that Taiwan thinks it's independence because China, on the other hand, they're saying, nope, you guys belong to us. So there's definitely something going on, especially with this Taiwan independence. And then you got other nations right now, other powerhouses who are looking to say, no, you attack Taiwan and we're all going to get behind it. Now, if that will happen, I really, really hope so. Taiwan's National Day celebrations this year will feature a rare display of military equipment, including missiles and a performance of fighter jets to be held Saturday in front of Presidential Office Building in the center of the capital, Taipei. That marks the first inclusion of military hardware in Taipei's official celebrations in a year, and first since Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen took office in 2016. Local media coverage of rehearsals of the celebration showed large missile launch vehicles driving on Taipei streets, although the missiles themselves were not directly visible. Now, whether this is a flex towards China, I have no idea, because the thing is that it's a bit unknown on what kind of firepower China really has right now. In the past, the Taiwanese government has kept its missile capabilities out of the public eye to avoid appearing provocative, said Kuo Yen Zheng, a defense studies expert at the Institute for National Policy Research in Taiwan. Kuo added that Taipei feels it must demonstrate that Taiwan has the ability to deter China's threat as Beijing becomes overly assertive. Japan and the United States are keeping a very close eye on what is going on in the Pacific. We just had that deal made between the UK and Australia for submarines. So again, something is definitely going on. I'm wondering if maybe these mandates that are going on here in the US are to try and keep our eye off over there. Because from what I have seen is that some crazy shit is going on, and it's almost like they're trying to keep our eyes off of that, because I'm telling you, this could turn into a powder cake. In years past, the National Day celebration has featured choreographed performances by motorcycle riding police and overflights by the island's Air Force. However, missiles were not part of that display. I think this is to raise Taiwan people's morale, said Fan Shiping. My God, these names. A professor of political science at National Taiwan Normal University. Taiwan's leader, Tsai, placed a higher premium on national defense than her predecessor from the more China-friendly Nationalist Party, launching a revitalization of the island's shipbuilding, industry, and commissioning program to build submarines domestically. She has also included reforms in the military, including improvement benefits for military personnel to increase the quality of food served in the messes. Taiwanese Defense Minister Chui Ko-cheng told legislators Wednesday that the situation in China is the most severe in the 40 years since I've enlisted. Chui later told reporters that he believed China would have comprehensive capabilities to invade Taiwan by 2025. And you know what? I have to say that we can't even allow that to happen. If we see China even making the slightest moves, I think it is time to go after their navy. I think it is time to go after their missile silos. We have to shut them down quick. We cannot afford to let this thing get any worse than it would. China's got numbers. We got military power. Now, that's the scary thing, is that as of right now, China's done a very good job at keeping a lid on whatever type of weapons they have themselves. Since the split, Taiwan has self-ruled, but its sovereignty is denied by Beijing, which has refused to renounce the option of using force to bring the island under control. Beijing has also sought to isolate Taiwan internationally by barring it from the United Nations and other international organizations, and opposing official contacts between its governments and nations that recognize China, especially the United States, which is legally bound to consider threats against Taipei a matter of grave concern. I mean, of course, our chips are all made there. What do you think happens if Taiwan gets invaded and they take over? And what happens to our electronics industry? Everybody thought that Facebook going dark the other day was bad enough. This will be a whole different monster. US and Japanese officials have warned that China's growing capabilities pose a rising threat to Taiwan's security and that of the region. The Taiwan question is purely China's internal affair, which tolerates no external interference, Xi said on Saturday. No one should underestimate the Chinese people's strong determination, will, and capability to safeguard national sovereignty and territorial integrity. And honestly, I have absolutely no doubt, and I am not underestimating the Chinese. At this point, I know this is a major concern. We're not hearing about it everywhere. In fact, I want to show you guys just something real quick, kind of stepping away from this, just how much the Chinese have influenced areas like our colleges. From the Daily Wire, report, college students under investigation for China kinda sus stickers. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole story. I will go ahead and leave it in the link in the description. Go ahead and read it yourselves when you get a chance. But essentially, this first paragraph really does show what's going on. A conservative campus group at Emerson College has been suspended, and several students are under investigation for handing out stickers critical of the Chinese government, according to new reports from the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, FIRE. And now here's what I have read about the actual story, just kind of giving a quick little summary. These kids who were criticizing China, they were criticizing the CCP. They weren't criticizing the Chinese people, and they show that down here. And apparently it has a lot to do with xenophobia, and if you really, really, really want my opinion, I guarantee they have Chinese professors there who are telling them, no, you are absolutely not to do this. I guarantee that the college is under a lot of pressure from the Chinese government on what to do. It's been made very apparent that the Chinese have infiltrated our college campuses. And you can definitely see it from the attitude coming from a lot of these college campuses. This whole woke movement, that seems to have been started by the Chinese. Now, I'm not going to go into it any farther than that, but I will go ahead and leave this article up for y'all. All I got to say is that right now, what I would recommend, go out and start getting food, get water, perhaps a generator, figure out exactly how it is that you can sterilize water if needed. Get the essentials. Ammo, guns, whatever it is that you think is necessary that you do not have at the moment, because I get a feeling if this sets off, things are going to get bad, everybody. Now, that's all I really have for y'all today. I just wanted to make sure and get this out. Wanted y'all to kind of go ahead and get an insight into this. Go ahead and research it into it more, I recommend. So have a good day, everybody, and I'll see y'all later.
祖国完全统一的历史任务一定要实现，也一定能够实现。不能统一，便要受害。分裂是祖国统一的最大障碍，是民族复兴的严重隐患。台湾问题纯属中国内政，不容任何外来干涉。任何人都不要低估中国人民捍卫国家主权和领土完整的坚强决心、坚定意志、强大能力。